let's move on to the Montreal Canadiens, Michael Lepore.
Love it.
So a couple years ago, when this team went to the Stanley Cup final, Habs fans were telling me how great it is. And, they were basically anointing this team like it was going to just run through the Eastern Conference. And they had all these great players, and Cole Caulfield was going to score 50 goals, and Nick Suzuki's the next Patrice Bergeron. And then the Habs had a horrific season. They got the number one pick in the draft and took Juraj Slafkovsky, which was a little bit of a shock, honestly, across the hockey world. How should Habs fans be feeling heading into this season, Lepore?
See, I think this one has some debate because unlike the Leafs, I think there's a pretty big gap on like a best case scenario season for the Montreal Canadiens and a worst case scenario season for the Montreal Canadiens. But that being said, what also matters there is how the management group is approaching this season. Like I've heard people say they think they're going to go in full like tank for Bedard mode. So we'll see about that. But I think I've seen some projections that have Montreal dead last in the league or among the worst teams in the league. If they have a decent season based on like the St. Louis factor, Caulfield playing well last year under him, maybe Suzuki getting back, there's not a lot of pressure on this team. I could see things going okay. At the end of the day, I don't think for Montreal Canadiens fans, there will be something that will like significantly disappoint them because at the end of the day, they'll either have like, a solid season and it is what it is and it shows growth, or they finish at the bottom. And that's probably the most exciting things if you have a shot at Bedard, like if we're being perfectly honest. But I'd like to know really, and Montreal Canadiens fans, comment down below, what would excite you about this regular season, or what result would excite you, I should ask. And also, what are your expectations, like from a standings point of view? Because I think there is a big sway. So I'd really like to know what Montreal Canadiens fans want from this season. If someone puts up their hand and says, you know what, this team's got some young talent, they can score goals, St. Louis is a good coach, I think this team can fight for a playoff spot, I'd say, okay, sure. Like, that's fair to do as a fan. But then on the flip side, if someone said, I want this team to finish dead last, and even if we don't get Bedard, let's get another high pick. Let's see if we can move some of our older guys at the deadline, get some more assets, I'd be okay with that too. But in terms of an excitement factor for the Montreal Canadiens fans, it's an exciting time. Like I always look back at the Leafs and say, Matthews' rookie season was that Matthews, Marner, Nylander season was the only real season that was fun for Leafs fans.
Yeah, because there was no expectations at all.
And we had all these kids. It was just a blast. We were excited because of Babcock, this and that. Anderson was playing good, made the playoffs. It was great. Like even that series, I remember after they lost to Washington, they did the salute. Everyone went crazy like for them because it was just exciting times. But then the expectations come. So for Montreal Canadiens fans right now, they're kind of in that boat of like whatever happens, and it'll just be part of the process. So I think it's an exciting and fun time for Montreal Canadiens fans, whether it's specific to this season. We'll see what happens with that, and we'll see how they react. But I mean, Bruno, if you were a Montreal Canadiens fan, how would you feel?
If I was a Habs fan, Lepore, I would be excited about one thing and one thing only heading into this season.
What's that?
And that one thing is Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
Because the way he finished off last season under Marty St. Louis was incredible, honestly. He was nearly a point per game player. People forget that he started the season just horribly. I believe he had like 1 or 2 goals over the first 30 plus games of the season.
Was bad. Yeah, it was
and
bad.
Ended up finishing the year with 23 goals in 67 games. I think this guy can be a 40 plus goal scorer in the NHL. And he really could be one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, period. So that is the one thing I would be very excited about, is just watching the growth of Cole Caulfield. And sure, I know Habs fans love Nick Suzuki, and they're even excited about Kirby Dach, who they actually just signed to a new contract. You know, they have other exciting young players as well. Obviously, I mentioned Juraj Slafkovsky, who they took first overall. It'll be exciting to see his development. to see how he works in to the lineup, if he cracks the lineup right away or whether it takes a little bit of time. We'll see how that plays out. But this team I don't think has any hope in hell of making the playoffs. Their defense core is not nearly good enough. Carey Price might never play again. Jake Allen is the starting goalie for this team. It's just not a very good team top to bottom. And, whether you look at the betting markets, whether you talk to hockey insiders, no one's expecting this team to do anything this season, whether that's compete for a playoff spot or win a Stanley Cup. I mean, that's not even close to a reality for this team at this point. So the one thing I'd be excited about, Lepore, is watching Cole Caulfield hopefully put on a show, maybe watch Nick Suzuki take his game to the next level, because even though we saw Suzuki take his game to the next level in the playoffs on the run to the Cup final, he had kind of a disappointing year last year. And again, the whole team was a mess, but I'm obviously excited to see what he has in store, and then hopefully getting another high pick, right? Whether it's the first overall pick, a top 5 pick, and just continue building this team and getting back to where they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you seem like you got a little man crush on Cole Caulfield, Bruno. Should Leafs fans be worried about their boy converting? I don't know.
Converting to be a Habs fan, my God. I mean, you're gonna see pigs fly before that. You're gonna see some crazy shit happen before I become a Habs fan. But I will admit, Lepore, I do have a little bit of a man crush on Cole Caulfield.
What's your guess? What's your number to how many goals Cole Caulfield finishes with?
I'll say 36 goals
Nice,
he scores
nice,
this
nice.
upcoming season.
Okay.
And maybe Habs fans are like, he's going to hit 40, no problem. It's not that easy to score 40 goals in the National Hockey League.
If I'm being perfectly honest with the Habs fans, I think you're hoping he doesn't hit 40 because that helps his contract negotiation.
Yeah,
40
exactly.
goals. Leafs fans know about that. You don't want these kids to come flying out of the gate too early because then it fucks you contract wise. They go right to their main contract. There's no bridge. There's no show me deal. So maybe hope Caulfield just has like a solid season, doesn't completely light it the fuck up.
You said it, man. Take it from the Leaf fans who have been through this stuff.
Yeah.